Hello and welcome to the Hume podcast from and Lowell. For those of you who don't know us, Hume is a recruitment training business co-founded by myself, Ed Khan, and Laura Hopes.
And each week we're going to be giving you 10-minute snippets into our world of recruitment, tips and tricks to help you on your journey as an agency recruiter, and hopefully some laughs along the way too. We hope you guys enjoy.
This is the first episode that we got halfway through recording and thought this isn't taking the angle that we want. And I think it's important to mention that because people must, I think, sometimes think that we sit here and we have a list of things that we want to cover and we make sure the episode's perfect. And we're surprised, this is actually the first time that we've ever gone.
27 episodes?
That was actual dross. Let's really can that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just interesting. And because I want people to know that this is not planned or orchestrated.
Yeah.
But felt like I had to admit that to our audience. This is a little bit planned and orchestrated, this one, because...
No, I think we're talking this week about landing and expanding your existing accounts, and why we felt the need to re-record it is we were going on a lot of different directions. And rather than focusing on one and going, okay, this is how you expand on a client.
Yeah.
And the sort of journey that takes.
If I was going to just have one thing to say on this subject, say I had 1 minute, all I would say on this is to be constantly, honestly asking yourself the question, what am I doing outside of filling their roles?
Yep.
Because if you're not focused on nurturing your existing accounts, you cannot expect to grow them.
Yeah, 100%. If I go down the route of my other business, Spence Lane Recruitment Agency, we only work retained.
Nice little plug there, guys.
Spence Lane Marketing Recruitment, Marketing Executive and Sales. But we have never worked one contingent, we've never billed with more than 12, I think that peak year was around 15 clients we billed with in 1 year. Not a huge spread, but those clients buy into me, buy into the value that we add. They consistently use us. They don't use other agencies. There's a real commitment there on both sides. That doesn't just happen by me filling their roles. Because realistically, and hopefully my clients aren't listening, anyone can do that role of recruiting for them. What no one else can do is bring a level of value add that I do, I'm quite convinced, and show a level of care for those businesses that others don't. And I think that starts with your first interaction and the intention in which you go into that interaction with. From your first business development calls, it's an exploratory conversation to find out more than, what roles you have available and how might we fill it. It's always looking at it from a bigger picture lens. I'm not just going, cool, that's a role, this is our capability, we can fill that role, and going away and doing an epic job. Unfortunately, that's not enough to build a long-standing, consistent relationship.
And I think if you don't ask, you don't get... It's really easy to get complacent on your accounts. Am I spreading?
Yeah.
Can't sit with my legs crossed anymore. It's really easy to get complacent with your accounts and be like, well, I love this particular contact within this account. They use me regularly. I'm guaranteed, I know that if there was other work there, I'd be able to get it, right? And I feel like consultants assume this a lot. I speak to consultants, they're like, I feel like I'm covered. And I'm like, well, when was the last time you asked? When was the last time you mapped out the organisation, that you looked at other divisions? When was the last time you said to one of your clients, hey, do you know the full breadth of what we offer? And so many times I've seen consultants be caught out with this in the past, where they'll go on a client meeting and the client's like, oh yeah, we actually just filled this role. And they're like, oh, well, I could have helped you with that. And they're like, oh, sorry, you've just only been, you've only been, you've filled our last 10 developer roles. We didn't even know you could do this particular element of IT. Yeah.
Didn't know you could
Like,
do
oh,
chefs.
like, whoa.
Do it all.
So I think it's never assuming that your client will always remember as well, like your full remit. And I think often they just think, well, this is my recruiter for this is my recruiter for this, or they won't kind of engage you for other projects because they get stuck in a rhythm of using you for certain things as well. And I think we can all get pretty complacent with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the questions that you brought up in the last episode, so I'm not going to claim it as mine, is you should be asking yourself and seeing if you pull
Seeing if I notice, might not even.
But a question you should be asking yourself, if you want to expand on your current client base, expand within your current client base, is, am I adding value to this person outside of purely just placing candidates?
That was just now.
No, that was the last episode.
No, that was the beginning of this one. You
I
mad?
feel like I said it with more gusto.
Oh, what? So like you heard me say it 3 minutes ago, and then just repeated it.
Oh, I wish I didn't even say
This
anything. I just
episode.
went straight in with
Be
it.
like, we've just done that.
But it is. If you can't.
This episode is a joke, and now we have to post this one so that people know that we do actually post. Oh man.
I'm actually just taking what you're saying and repeating it 5 seconds.
That's
later.
all this episode's going to be. We don't really have a huge amount else.
Oh,
No,
God.
you do need to be able to add value. Service reviews we've spoken about in previous poddy eps, but it's super important that you need to be completing service reviews with your clients, because it's like, I use this analogy of fitness first, right? Go to fitness first up the road, and it's a pretty daggy fitness first in the grand scheme of things. Things are always broken. Like, if they're listening, if they don't fix the aircon soon, this pregnant woman is going to just like lose it. But, you know, it's really convenient, right? But if a new shiny gym opened around the corner, I'd be going to do a free trial straight away. And I don't complain to them about it because it's not enough to complain about. And so I think we also need to, and we spoke about this with our membership session, we need to keep this in mind that just because our clients aren't complaining to us, it doesn't mean that they're 100% happy all the time. So I think always be thinking, am I adding value? Always be asking for feedback. Like, is there anything, if you were going to be truly, truly honest with me, that you would change about my service? And it doesn't mean it's a complaint. It would just help me work with you better.
Yeah.
And then asking the question, like, do you understand the full breadth of what we offer? And are there other areas of your business that you think at this point it would be worth me introducing myself to? And can you facilitate that? And I think you need to, if you're landing, it's about what you offer. And if you're expanding, it's about continual improvement and then being able to open other doors within that.
And I would just add on that, from a very practical point of view, you obviously need to start with that particular one client that you've currently built with needs to buy into you, and you need to be doing an amazing job for them to refer you. But it is up to you to ask those questions and do the research, because your clients often, if they're in larger organisations, they typically don't know exactly what's going on in other divisions. So if your client's a developer manager, he or she is not going to know really what's going on in the marketing team, but you, as a recruiter, have got access to a lot of information. So go on to LinkedIn for all of your client accounts. If you've got LinkedIn Recruiter, I highly recommend you doing this task before the end of the year to map out your current clients. Punch in the client name and company. Do current, go, joined within the last 12 months, hit search. Within the areas that you recruit in, have a look at how many people have joined that organisation within the last 12 months across which areas. Then go, cool, there's 14 marketers that were hired in the last 14 months. Who's the most senior marketer within that business? Cool, it's Jenny Brosser. Awesome, I'm going to call my client now and go, have a quick catch up and go, mate, just noticed, I was doing some research, I love working with you, and it seems like the feeling's mutual, really want to expand on our relationship here. I've noticed that Jenny has hired 12 marketers in the last 12 months. Can I ask, do you know what that sort of situation is? Does she have other agency partners? Would you mind referring me in? Your word would mean a lot. She's obviously a colleague of yours. Can you CC me into an email? Your word would hold a lot of weight. So being more directive rather than reactive to your clients, because I can guarantee you, doing this job for 12 years, no matter how good you are with a client contact and how amazing they think you are, they will not go out of their way to sit down and go, this is amazing. Where can I refer him to? They will not do it. So be quite directive and specific with what sort of internal referral you want, and do your research, and don't expect your client contact to do that for you because it's lazy. Go in armed with what you need and ask for it.
It's such a great point, because that's the only way you would do it with candidates. Like, who can you refer me to right now? Like, if you just go, is there anyone else in your business? You know, they're like, I don't know, like, what do you, across what? So, yeah, I think that's such a good point, going and actually mapping it out yourself and then asking. And if they can't refer you or they don't know, then at least you can go to that person and you're like, hey, I work with this person. Here's a case study of the work I do. I'm coming down next week to visit a candidate. I'd love to tag on a quick introduction to you, and just getting really proactive with those additional client meetings as well.
For me, it always comes back down to the research. Absolutely, you need to be the one knowing what's going on with those businesses. But also, just not even from an expand point of view, you should be understanding what's going on in those businesses so that you can have intelligent conversations with your clients.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we pulled that episode back.
Just from the edge. It's going to be posted anyway, so we'd love...
After I ripped your little comment at the start and tried to pass it off.
We'd love anyone's feedback on this week. How have you found this level of vulnerability from us?
Maybe I'm just a little bit upset because I'm drinking water today instead of champagne.
Rather than wine.
Anyway, I might see you guys next week with a glass of champagne.
Oh, God. Okay, bye.